All right. Now, my name is Tracy Doyle, and yes, I am a Tea Partier. I've been so in spirit since I saw Rick Santelli's rant on the floor of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange way back in February of 2009 in reaction to Obama's housing stimulus plan. I watched with mildly piqued interest as the Tea Party tried to figure out what it was and what it stood for. It didn't even seem to take itself seriously at first, with people mailing little tea bags to their congressmen and their senators. But I was rather terrified at the direction in which I saw our country lurching with these crazy bailout spending schemes and things like health care. I still didn't get involved until January last year, when it was looking like that crazy health care reform bill was going to pass. I mean, as one of the ostensibly voluntary uninsured, I knew that I might even be facing jail time, the loss of my constitutionally guaranteed right of liberty for not purchasing an insurance product. Could this really be my America? And I attended a meeting of this Rockford Tea Party back then just to see what it was about, and I found a very well-organized meeting led by the most passionate and capable David Hale. And as a former newspaper reporter, what has struck me from the very beginning is the mainstream media's utter failure to understand what the Tea Party movement is and what it is not. Okay, now I see a lot of new faces here. Those of you who are not new and who may have heard me speak before, please forgive me for being redundant. But, you know, even Fox News, even which so many non-watchers assume they're the progenitors, the string pullers for the Tea Party, they don't get it. And its detractors, they're even crazier than Fox, led by slanderous statements from people like Nancy Pelosi and organizations like the NAACP, whose motives I can only presume are nefarious. So here it is from the hip, from a real grassroots participant in what may pan out to be the most historically significant non-organization in our lifetimes, if not ever in our country since the Revolutionary War. Well, what we are. First, basically, the Tea Party is a philosophy. It's a frame of mind, a set of basic core principles. We're your mom, your dad, your neighbor, your brother, sister. We're your shopkeeper, your grocer, your car dealer, your Chamber of Commerce member. We are generally gainfully employed or own a business and have been trying to provide for ourselves as we put away money for our retirement. We're usually mind your own business kind of people, live and let live. We're not rabble-rousers, and we'd much rather go to a family picnic than a political protest. We're polite, and we've been told the two things never to discuss are religion and politics. And for years, we've been watching the news with frustration, throwing things at the TV, and coming out to vote once or twice a year. We're pretty much still doing that in 2008 when our economy came to a screeching halt. When Bush and the gang on Capitol Hill succumbed to the chicken little sky is falling alarms of Hank Paulson and Ben Bernanke and shoved TARP down our collective throats without even giving Congress a chance to review the bill, we felt the earth move. Suddenly we were in a parallel universe where things looked the same, but everything was different. The question in our minds was, who are we? Where are we? How did we get here? And how did we get back home? That got us off our couches and into the streets, making signs and seeking out like-minded people, and the Tea Party was born. What we are. The Tea Party, the real Tea Party, I'll talk about that in a few minutes, it's a philosophical view of government and its role in our lives. It's a gathering more than it is an organization. There are several organizations out there, most of which evolved out of convenience rather than planning, but those associations are loose, and cash flow channels are nebulous and usually locally based. We don't have leaders per se. Anytime you hear Tea Party leader so-and-so, beware. They are lying to you. The media is lying to you, and you're going to hear more lies in the next few months than you've ever heard in your lives. Okay? We don't have leaders. We have organizers. We have coordinators who find meeting places and speakers and scour the internet for material to share. Technically, we don't even have members. I'm on a mailing list. but it's not really a membership roster. There are no dues to pay. We toss money into a hat when funding is needed. Our organizers don't tell us what to think or how to vote. We are independent and we are respected for our individual views. What we do stand for, with some slight variations, are these four basic principles: fiscal responsibility, free markets, lower taxes, and constitutional integrity / limited government. The idea that government spending should be constrained and targeted and should not exceed our ability as a nation to repay our debt, especially without destroying the dollar in the process, which is exactly what they are set out to do. Free markets, the government has to get its boot off the necks of free enterprise, and we're going to have some folks talking about that a little bit later. What we hold that market manipulation was largely responsible for the downfall of our economy, our financial institutions, and that high taxation and over-regulation continues to stifle our economy. Lower taxes. T.E.A. Tax enough already. Need I say more? Constitutionally limited government. Today's Constitution Day. Read it. It's very clearly delineated what states are supposed to do, what the federal government is supposed to do. And when you see what our federal government is doing in comparison to that, it will make you sick. So, the Constitution is designed to be our safeguard against tyranny and should never, never be abridged. That's it. No more, no less. No talk of social issues, no talk of race, no talk of national defense, or any of the other straw men that are put up by the media who would marginalize us to achieve their political goals of power and control. We're not easily defined. We're not a branch of the Republican Party. And when you hear people coming out and say, oh, well, the Tea Party is going to support whatever Republican we get, maybe, but it's not a guarantee. We are free to choose who the heck we want to vote for, and I swear if we get another rhino that is going to be running for president this year, there's going to be some serious talk about the Republican Party going the way of the Whigs, because we have the power. We the people. Yeah.